Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
And you coached him, playing for the Hawks now. What do we expect to see?
You know, I think one of the things that you take into consideration, you know, when Dwight was in Orlando, he played for a very tough and a very demanding coach in Stan Van Gundy. And for a period of time, 3 years, he was great. He was sensational. And things got a little sideways there at the end. And, you know, there's a lot of reasons and a lot of excuses. But so he has, you know, obviously responded well to good coaching, obviously playing for Coach McHale as well, getting to the Western Conference Finals. I do think that, and I'm being objective here, and I answer this question, but I feel like a lot of what's been said about Dwight, the narrative for the last 3 years about Dwight, it wasn't necessarily all his fault. You know, I think there's some blame on his part, but I think there was some circumstances that were bigger than Dwight that maybe contributed. And maybe I'm wrong in saying that, but I do believe that. I also think the timing. I think the timing for the Atlanta Hawks franchise was the right time, and the right time for Dwight. You know, Dwight has been through a lot, and is at a point now, I think, where he just wants to be in a good environment, wants to have a chance to win, and wants to sort of restore and repair himself, his reputation.
Yeah.
So,
how much left in the tank?
That's the biggest question. I mean, you know, one thing I've always said about Dwight, the bigger the game, the more focused he is and the harder he plays. I will give him credit for that. I've seen a lot of players who, bigger the game comes, they shrink a little bit. He doesn't shrink. He plays harder. He gets after it. My experience with Dwight, he couldn't bring it every single night. He was hurt a lot. He had a lot of different things. His back, you know, bothered him. He had a back surgery. He had, you know, his knee. He just, I don't know if he can bring it every single night like you have to. And he needs a really, really copacetic, like the locker room for him, and everything has got to be really tight for him, because that's, like, you know, his biggest beef was always, well, this guy doesn't, you know, we don't get along well enough. And, you know, I'm thinking, get along. I'm going home to my wife. I don't know what you guys are doing after practice, but
You're going to be busy.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I never believed in that stuff, because I'm like, I didn't, you know, look, if you and I were going to go out and fight, I might say, Smitty, see you tomorrow. That's the last time I talked to you. But the next day we step on the court, we get after it. He likes that whole thing, you know, the family thing and everything else, and that was not the case in Houston. It was a pretty disjointed at times there, and he struggled with that.
That is, would you want to put a period on this?
Well, no, to the Grant's play, I think individually it's going to be fantastic for Dwight. I think the locker room is, like you said, everything individually is perfect for Dwight. And I think so many people have beat him up. Their success is still, people are going to say, is Dwight, yes or no. But I think everything for Dwight, this will be one of his better years. It won't be Orlando.